Hey, what's going on? So welcome back in Unreal Engine 4.26, and today what we're going to talk about is level of detail, or LOD. Now, Epic Games just came out with a video recently pretty much talking about level of detail inside the metahuman character. Now, LOD was honestly, when I first started learning 10 months ago in Unreal Engine 4, I really ignored it, and it's crazy because it's actually pretty darn important. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at right now, we're going to look at the metahuman character on the left, and we're going to look at a CG character that I got from the Epic Marketplace, just to really talk to you guys about what level of detail is and what LOD is. Now, Epic Games made a video, but again, is mostly tailored for video games and so on and so forth. So if you've played a video game before, you're actually pretty familiar with LOD. So level of detail is pretty much the scale of quality that is coming out of a certain CG model. So for example, if you look at our metahuman character here, and it's actually set by the distance from that certain object. So let's say here, so you can see he doesn't really look that good. I mean, granted, our scalability is medium, but if we go in, you're going to see that his level of detail is going to switch to a higher quality. And if I go back, kind of see that his hair kind of switches over to like non-strands and it's ugly. That's what level of detail is. And why is that important? Well, if you're trying to get a photorealistic CG short film or cutscene, you're going to want to make sure that you are optimizing your level of detail pretty much as high as your graphics card can go. Now, if you're creating a game, totally different kind of strategy because you need your game to run smoothly. But if you're just exporting a movie, then you can crank this up a little bit more, as high as your graphics card can go. So, and if you want to see this a little bit better, if you go to lit, level of detail, if you turn the coloration on, it's going to put a color to it. So this is that color. If I back up, see it's terrible. It's going to keep changing, right? And I think this one has 7 LODs. Now if I zoom in, moving with my W key here, you're going to see that that color is changing. And now we are in, this isn't actually level 0. This is level 1. Red is level 1. And if I change this to cinematic and I go to level of coloration, there goes your LOD 0. Now, it's not going to show up whenever you're in scalability of medium like we were earlier, but if you crank it to cinematic, there goes your LOD 1, and then all the way back. All right? So whenever we're in LOD 0, that's really when it starts taking a hit on my computer. Okay? If you look on the guy on the right, you see that it's not really changing. Okay, and that's because the CG model only has 1 LOD. Now, to check the LOD for a CG model like this, you just go to the mesh. Right here on the mesh, the skeletal mesh, you can double click that. And in the asset detail, you're going to see that there's actually only 1 LOD for this. So this is the highest quality you can get out of this model. Now, you can create different LODs if you want, by putting something here like a 4 or a 5 or a 6, and then create your own LODs if you want this to be optimized for a video game. But since I usually make movies with characters, I want that to be at number LOD 1. Okay, that's the highest it can go. Now, with the metahuman characters, Epic Games actually did something very cool where they actually have the LOD Sync, like they talked about in their video. So if I go to this BP human character and I go to LOD Sync, it's actually going to show you that this thing has 8 different LODs. And force LOD -1 pretty much says that it can change and it varies to the distance of your camera. If I force this to 0, it's going to be 0 all throughout. And you're going to see that we are now working in that high LOD. Wherever we are, it's going to stay at LOD 0. And if you want to know more about the different LODs for MetaHuman Creator, if you go to the documentation, it's actually going to show you LOD 0, 1, 2, 3, kind of like how I showed you guys earlier. Now, the way they're dividing this is actually by systems, I guess. This is supposed to be mobile. Oh, right here, 0 to 1 is Xbox, PlayStation, PC. 2 to 4 is going to use card-based representations for your hair, and then 5 to 7 is really for your, like phones and stuff like that. And also it breaks it down by vertices, by the count. Okay, in 0 you're going to have 24,000, 1 12,000, so it's really cool because you actually see what's going on. With the hair, you have, what is that, 50,000 hair strands for LOD 0. And then whenever it switches it to card in those different LODs, then it goes. And as you can see, 0 and 1 are the only ones that's strand based, and everything else is pretty much cards as far as your hair goes. And here's the breakdown some more. You got PC, whatever that is, PS4, Android, and that's how the LOD is distributed, which is really cool. Again, right here, PC has to be epic and cinematic quality for you to get the LOD 0. Best LOD is 0, so on and so forth. Okay? 8K max texture on the PC and cinematic quality. So, and the next thing I'm going to go over is kind of show you what this does to assets like rocks and such. So I have Quicksilver Bridge right here, which is mega scans. And I'm going to go grab this burnt wood. And I'm going to go download an 8K resolution. They released this today, this environment asset, and this is insane. This looks amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. Quicksilver Bridge, Mega Scan. They did a burnt forest. I'm going to try and see if I can create something. I'm not really like an environment maker, and I wish I was better at creating environments, but I got to do something because this looks amazing. Okay, and I'm going to go export that. And it's going to go take it straight to our Unreal Engine 4 project here. Okay, it's going to do its thing. And as you can see right here, it has 3 LODs for this mesh. If I drag and drop it here, okay, and then what I'm going to do is just scale this up because it is kind of small. Okay, now same thing, if I get closer to it, that looks photorealistic. But if I back out, you're going to see that it's going to change to LOD. And again, if I go to here and I go to the mesh LOD, this is LOD 1, this is LOD 2, 1, red is 1, and then here goes LOD 0. So if you want this to look good, even from afar away, then you would have to change the LOD here to just number of LODs, and you would just put 1. Apply changes, and now if I go out, you can see that it's staying that highest quality, right? Now, for video games, you're going to kill your system in your game, but for stuff like CGI short films and cinematic stuff, you can have an LOD 0, and look, it's going to look really nice. All right? What's exciting about this is as the graphics card systems and PCs start to catch up in the future, I mean, we can put 1 million of these rocks in an environment and it would look amazing. Okay? So I hope you kind of see why it's important to understand and use the level of detail inside Unreal Engine 4 when creating movies, because it really helps you get that photorealistic look to your movies inside Unreal Engine. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And if you are a CG artist, whether an environment artist or a character artist, please hit me up on my Instagram, because I am actually looking for some people who can help me create some assets for my short films.